Emma, and here is Vicky, and here is Katie. And Katie and Vicky are both joining me today to run through a sequence which is aimed at encouraging our sense of balance. So not just in the yoga poses that we'll be doing, but also in our approach to the yoga poses. So we're not going to be too tight or too loose, but trying to find the middle ground. So the word balance in Latin is ballare, which means to dance. So we're going to allow the dance as we move from pose to pose. But for now, just come to a kneeling position and just settle the sitting bones onto the heels. And then just try and press your toenails down onto the mat so that you find a corresponding lift, perhaps through the chest. Hands can be palm down or palm up, whichever works for you. Then just closing the eyes. So just finding a length through the spine so that you're aware of the feet in contact with the mat. You're aware of a lifting through the crown of the head, and there's an opening through your chest, or an openness through your chest. You can feel the hands are in contact with the legs. I want you then just to bring your awareness to the breath. So we're going to start deepening the inhalation and lengthening the exhalation. So breathing in and out through the nose, unless of course you're not able to, in which case breathe through your mouth. And actually, if it's very uncomfortable for you to kneel, you may also just sit. Just deepening the breath. Those of you familiar with Ujjayi breath may engage Ujjayi breath. And I'm going to bring a silent count to the breath. So I'm going to count for 6 on the inhalation and 6 on the exhalation. So Samavriti. So everyone just releasing all breath from body. And then inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just letting go of this count to the breath, but staying with your breath as much as you can throughout the practice. And for now, just bringing your hands together at the heart, so just pressing the hands together in prayer position. And perhaps just joining me in a single chant of Om. So if you're chanting, take a breath in through your nose. Om. Just dropping the chin towards the chest and just opening your eyes. And then just coming away from the kneeling position and come to sit instead. So just sitting literally on the sitting bones, crossing the ankles. It doesn't matter which way, we'll change it afterwards. That's right. And then we're just going to start by interlocking the fingers ahead of us. We're going to take an inhalation, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. And on the exhalation, right hand to the right side of the mat, lean over, left hand over to the right. Inhaling, reaching both hands to the ceiling. And exhaling, reaching over to your left. Lovely. Inhaling back up. This time exhale, twist to the right. So take the left hand to the right knee, right hand to the back, chest open. Lovely. Inhaling, reaching up. And exhaling, twisting to the left. So chest stays lovely and open. Brilliant. Inhale, reaching hands up. And exhale, hands to the back of the body now, interlocking your fingers. And taking an inhalation to lift the hands, squeezing shoulder blades together. And exhale, hands around to the front, right elbow on top of left. And wrap the arms around one another. That's it. Extend through the fingers. So Garudasana arms. Just draw the elbows away from your chest as much as possible. And then on the inhalation now, we're going to tilt forward on the pelvis. Lift the elbows up away from the mat. Good. And then on the exhalation, elbows towards belly button, rounding your spine. Brilliant. That's pretty good. Inhaling, lifting up, opening. And exhale, release the hands to the back of the body. Lean back into your fingertips and inhale, extend your legs. Good. And then exhale, change the cross. Interlocking the fingers again. And inhale, let's reach all the way up. This time as you exhale, reach over to your left. So left hand down, right hand over. That's it. And then inhale, reaching up, rooting the sitting bones down, and exhale over to your right. Lovely. Inhaling, coming back to the center. And exhale, take the twist to the left. That's it. So right hand to left knee. Brilliant. And then inhale, reaching hands up. And exhale, twist over to your right, chest open. Fabulous. Inhaling, arms up, back to the center. Exhale, hands again together at the back of the body, interlock your fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and inhale, lift the hands. Exhaling, releasing, left elbow on top of right this time, wrap the arms around one another, and inhale, lift the elbows up, tilt forward, and exhale, rounding the spine, elbows to belly button. Inhaling, reaching up, and exhale, releasing the hands to the back of the body. Lean back again on the inhalation, extend your legs. And exhale, spin the legs off to the right or to the left, doesn't really matter. Just come all the way around onto knees. So just have space ahead of you on your mat. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So starting in the kneeling position, take the tummy over your thighs and stretch your hands forward. That's it. So hands are about shoulder distance apart, spreading the fingers. And then from there, you're going to come onto your knees, tuck the toes under, take an inhalation and exhaling, downward facing dog. Brilliant. Let's just take a few breaths here. So hands are shoulder distance apart, just grounding, that's it. The heel of the thumbs down onto the mat, pressing between thumb and index finger. Lovely, that's it. Shoulders away from the ears, brilliant. Lengthening all the way up through your spine. You might even walk on the spot actually if your hamstrings are feeling a little tight right now, or you might just come into the pose statically. And then the heels are about, or at least the feet are about hip distance apart, and the heels are turned out ever so slightly. Lovely. And then we're going to come forward on the mat. So we're going to take an inhalation to lift the head. And on the exhalation, walk or step your feet to your hands. We'll take an inhalation, lift the chest, look forward, hands can come onto your shins. And then on the exhalation, stay as you are or straighten your legs, forehead down. And then on your inhalation, reach the hands out to the side, come all the way up, reach up, look up if it's comfortable for the neck, and exhale, release your arms down. Good. Okay, so we're going to run through a few rounds of sun salutation. So starting at the front of your mat with your feet together. Brilliant. So just making sure you've room to the side, hands to the heart. And on the inhalation, arms out to the side, reach all the way up, looking up if that's comfortable for your neck. Exhale, floating fingertips back down onto the mat in line with the tips of toes. Inhale, lift your head as you step your right foot back into a lunge. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely. Inhale, come forward into plank, extend through the crown of the head, brilliant. And exhale, knees, chest, chin on the mat, elbows in, 8-limb pose, that's it. And then inhale, scoot through into baby cobra, lower ribs on the mat. And then tuck the toes under, and on an exhalation, downward facing dog. Good. On the inhalation, lift the right foot, look forward. And exhale the right foot to the right thumb. Come up onto the fingertips, lift the chest, lift the back knee, lovely. And exhale, left foot to join right foot, crown of head towards the floor. Soften the knees, inhaling, take the hands out to the side, reach all the way up, brilliant. And then exhale, floating back down, fingertips in line with tips of toes. Inhaling, lift the head as you step your left foot back this time. That's it. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling, come forward into plank, press through your heels, thigh muscles active, straight long line. Exhale, knees, chest, chin on the mat again, elbows in as much as you can. Well done. Inhale, scoot through baby cobra, all 10 toenails on the mat, lovely Katie. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling, let's lift the left foot up off the mat, look forward. And exhale, left foot to left thumb. Inhale, extending the chest forward. And exhaling, right foot to join left foot, head down. Soften the knees, and on the inhalation, reach hands all the way to the ceiling. And exhale, floating back down again, fingertips in line with tips of toes. Inhaling, lift the head as you step the right foot back, chest forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward into plank. And this time, exhale, lower the whole body onto the mat. Yes, fabulous. Inhale, baby cobra, all 10 toenails on the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog, draw back from your thighs. Inhale, lift the right foot, look forward. And exhale the right foot to the right thumb. Keep the left knee lifted as you inhale, lift the chest. Exhaling, left foot to right foot, head down. Soften the knees on the inhalation, hands out to the side, reach all the way up, that's it. Last one, exhaling, fingertips back down onto the mat. Inhale, lift the chest as you step your left foot back. Good. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward into plank again, keep pressing through your heels. And exhale, lower onto the mat. That's it, Katie. Good, well done, folks. And inhaling, baby cobra, elbows in, shoulders down. Exhale from your inner and outer heels to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left foot, look forward. And exhale, left foot to left thumb. Come on to the fingertips, inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, right foot to left foot, head down. On the inhalation, take the arms out to the side, reach all the way up, that's it. And then exhale, release the arms down. Good, okay, so feet together, everyone. Going to come into Utkatasana, so the fierce chair pose. So from here, you're going to take your inhalation to bend the knees and reach the hands to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, straighten the legs, fingertips onto the floor again. Inhale, lift the chest, have the knees bent if you need to. And exhale, walk, step or jump into downward facing dog. Good, now we're going to inhale forward into plank. And we're going to exhale, roll onto the outside of the left foot, inside of right foot. Maybe take your right foot halfway up the mat. Take the weight into your left hand, turn your tummy and chest to the right. So you've no choice but to then lift the right hand to the ceiling. So brilliant. So having your foot on the mat if you need to, as Katie's doing, brilliant. But either way, everyone being active through that left leg. Fabulous. Stay with the breath, lift the bottom hip away from the mat, crown of the head forward. Take your inhalation and exhale, plank. Good, and then we're going to inhale, roll onto the outside of the right foot, inside of left foot, and maybe step the left foot halfway up the mat. That's it. Good, and then you're turning the chest and tummy to the left and lifting that left hand. Lovely, so like both these girls, the crown of the head is reaching to the middle of the room, your bottom foot is active, the top leg is also active, or you might have the knee bent, tummy active, brilliant. Take your inhalation here and exhale, plank, lower all the way down onto the mat. Hurrah. That's it. Great. Okay. And actually what we'll do here is just make sure the feet are about hip distance apart. All 10 toenails are on the mat, so that's it. Good. So the little toenails as well. And we'll bring the hands together at the back of the body, Sarangasana. So we'll bring that's it. Almost like we did, well, it is like we did earlier. I'm just going to do it on our tummies. Trying to bring the palms of the hands together so the shoulders are down away from the ears. Press all 10 toenails onto the mat so that maybe your knees lift up off the mat. And then on an inhalation, lift the chest up off the mat and the head up off the mat and lift the hands. Lovely. Exhale, forehead down onto the mat. Let's do one more like that. Let's inhale, lift the chest again. That's it, great. And then exhale, release down. Hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes under. And then from the inner and outer heels, lift from your thighs, take your inhalation and exhale, downward facing dog. Yes. Let's just take a few breaths here. So ground the thumb and index finger base down onto the mat. Also where the inner wrist joint meets the thumb, press down there with the heel of the thumb then, lifting through your hip creases. Well done everyone. Good. Okay, and then we're going to come into a few standing poses now. So we're going to start on the right side. So we're going to take the inhalation to lift the right foot up off the mat, look forward. And exhale your right foot to your right thumb. And then you're going to spin the left heel towards the middle of the mat. That's it. Bring the left hand forward and inhale all the way into warrior two. So the chest and head initially, that's it, facing the left side of the room. And this right knee on top of the right ankle, lovely, keep the right foot facing forward and then turn your head to look out over the middle finger on your right hand. Fabulous. And then keep pressing into that back foot so your torso is perpendicular to the mat, so you're not leaning to the right or leaning to the left, lovely. And that front knee is directly on top of the front ankle. Now drop the left hand down the back of the left leg and turn the palm of the right hand to face the ceiling. We'll just take it one in-breath, opening through that side waist, that's it. And then exhale, Utthita Parsvakonasana. So right forearm to right thigh, left hand to the ceiling. And then there is the option to go further from here if you choose to, which means you're going to bring your right fingertips onto the mat on the inside of your right ankle. If you want a block, but if you've got access to a block, you might use a block. Is that the right high feet? That's right, isn't it? And then with the left arm, you might be perfectly happy as you are. Otherwise, I suggest dropping it down to the floor and then bringing it forward towards the front of the mat and lifting all the way up from there. That's it. Lovely. So shoulder away from me, is that right? Yeah. That's it, brilliant. And then you might hug your chin towards that left armpit and look towards the back of the room. Brilliant. So you might use that right arm to encourage the right knee to trap the right little toe, but without being aggressive to the knee joint. Keep pressing into that back foot as much as you can. So ball of big toe, little toe, inner heel and outer heel. So this right knee is directed towards the right little toe, but the outer right hip is drawing back. So there's all these relationships going on. Chest and tummy revolving towards the ceiling, crown of head forward. Fabulous. Okay, that's probably enough, right? So those of you looking back, look down. Take an inhalation, push all the way back up into warrior two, and exhale, straighten that front leg. Good. Okay, so we're going to come into a balancing pose now. We're going to try to come into a balancing pose. Falling is legal, right? Falling is okay. So if you have to fall, that's fine. Just try again. So we're going to keep the right foot facing forward. I think Katie's going to try it with a block, and Vicky's not going to use block. So we're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Okay. So step your left foot further up the mat. There's a degree of pressure, isn't there, here? Left hand to left hip, fingertips either on the mat as Vicky's going to do or on a block. You want the fingertips or the block about 30 centimetres ahead of that right foot and off to the right. And then on your inhalation, lift that left leg. That's it, good. Don't worry, it's there. And if it's not there, it doesn't matter. That's it, Katie, good. Press through that left heel, really energise your left leg. Stay as you are, or maybe reach that right hand to the ceiling. That's it, having the right hand above the right shoulder, and extend up through that left hand as you reach down through the right hand, so you're extending between both hands. So your right fingertips are on the mat or your hands on the block, and the left hand is reaching up towards the ceiling, crown of the head forward, lovely. Okay, brilliant girls. Look down, take an inhalation and exhale, both hands onto the mat, so we'll move the block out of the way. Depending on how your hamstrings are feeling, or anything else for that matter, point your left toes. Maybe nothing happens and you stay here, otherwise you're going to take an inhalation, lift the left foot, or left leg, and exhale, walk the hands back so that your forehead is coming towards your right shin. So Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana, which is actually standing splits, which makes everyone a little scared when they hear that word. It's a joy, so breathe. Everything starts jittering and juddering, doesn't it? Whole system's going into some sort of shock. Great, okay. So you're going to take your inhalation to lift the head now. On the exhalation, big step back with your left foot, back into this lunge position, and just align the fingertips with the tips of the toes. Lift that left knee as much as you can, that's it, and then lift the chest. So imagine your armpits are smiling and you're looking forward. Good, okay, and then on your next exhalation, drop the left knee down onto the mat, left foot flat. Come up from here, so right knee is on top of right ankle, in theory, that's it. Hands to the heart, lift and lengthen through your waist, drop the shoulders. We're going to twist to the right, okay, so left elbow is going to the right. So we're going to take an inhalation, and then on the exhalation, twist over to the right. And just pause here to find your kind of balance, I guess, so that you feel really grounded through that right foot. The right outer hip is drawing back, brilliant. And then if you choose to, you can now tuck your left toes under, and inhale, lift the left knee up off the mat. And really press through that left heel as you lengthen through the crown of the head. That's it, good. Breathe. Keep twisting, well at least keep breathing and twisting with the breath. Hands pressing together. And then take your inhalation here, and on your exhalation, downward facing dog, like none of that ever happened. Hurrah, brilliant. So we're going to have to do that all over again on the other side. That was particularly good. So, a few breaths, just to feel the hands grounded to the mat again, the lengthening up through the sitting bones, energy down the backs of the legs. And then we'll move to the left side. So on the inhalation, lift the left foot, look forward. And exhale your left foot to your left thumb. Swivel your right heel to the middle of the mat. Bring the right hand forward and inhale all the way into Warrior 2. So Virabhadrasana 2. So this time the chest and the head, initially maybe, the face, facing the right side of the room. And just track that left knee towards the left little toe, that's it. And then you might turn your head to look out over the middle finger on your left hand. Lovely, that's it, good. So you're softening the shoulders, extending between the fingertips. Not too tight, not too loose. Breathing up into the chest, so a very strong pose, strengthening for the legs and for the ankles. And then we'll take it into reverse warrior. So we're going to bend, well not going to bend, we're going to bring the right hand down the back of the right leg, turn the left hand to the ceiling. Take one inhalation to really open the sideways, and exhale, Utthita Parsvakonasana. And just pause for a moment in the starting position, and then determine whether you're going to go further, and if you are, your left hand to the inside of that left foot. And then you might drop the right hand down to the mat, and then inhale, bring that right arm over the right ear. Tuck the chin in towards that right armpit. So again, loads of relationships going on here. We've firstly got the left knee on top of the left ankle. So the left knee is tracking the left little toe, that's brilliant, as Katie's doing here, and that left hip is drawing back. And then the chest is revolving towards the ceiling. Good, stay with the breath. Crown of head extended forward, keep pressing into this back foot. Revolving tummy and chest. That's it, softening the face. Well done. Good, and then those of you looking towards the back wall, look down towards your left foot, press the feet down to inhale, lift all the way back up, and exhale, release your arms. Fabulous, step the right foot towards the left foot. We're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana on the left side. So again, using a block or not using a block, you're right using a block. Yeah, okay. So from here, take your block into your left hand or take your left fingertips onto the mat. So again, it's going to be different for everyone, but about 30 centimetres or so, I'd say, and off to the left. And then maybe already start turning your tummy and chest to the right and taking your right hand to your right hip. Press the left foot down to inhale, lift the right foot up off the mat. And then it's really important that we really energise this right leg. It will make us lighter in the pose and also more stable. So really press, that's it, Katie, great, through that right foot, through the right heel. So you're flexing that right foot. That's it, good. And extending the crown of the head forward. So you're reaching between the right heel and the crown of the head. You're lifting maybe through that right hand as you reach down through the bottom hand. Fabulous. And breathe, let's not forget to breathe. So everything is moving, radiating from our core. So feel the radiating energy from your core up through that top hand, through the bottom hand, out through the crown of the head, and through both feet. Okay, those of you looking up, look down, and on an exhalation, right hand onto the mat, block out of the way, point the right toes, stay here, or on an inhalation, lift the right leg, and exhale, walk the hands back so the forehead presses towards the left shin. Good, that's it. So just keep pointing through that back, that's it, back foot. Relax the shoulders, steady breath. You should imagine that by now your left leg is making itself very well known to you. Okay, we're going to take it into that lunge. So we're going to take the inhalation to lift the head and chest, and exhale, big step back with that right foot. Good, and then we'll just pause here for a few breaths. So fingertips in line with the tips of the left toes. Press through the right heel, that's it, and then press the back of the heart, as these girls are doing, forward, shoulders down. Fabulous, that's it. And then on your exhalation, bend the right knee, bring the right knee down onto the mat, and come up from there. So right foot flat, left knee directly on top of left ankle, chest nice and open, hands to the heart, spine lengthening. That's it, hands in prayer position. Take your inhalation and exhale, twist to your left this time. And you might just want to pause here as well. So you've got your left hand pressing onto your right hand, chest and tummy revolving to the left. Check that left knee stays on top of the left ankle and the ball of the left big toe keeps pressing down. And then if you want to move from here, tuck the right toes under, take an inhalation and exhale, right knee off the mat. There we go, fabulous. So again, a relationship. So press back through this right heel, extend the crown of the head forward. So there's length in the pose, and also stability, of course. So everything hugging towards the midline. And also, of course, the breath. Let's not forget the breath. So breathe into the pose, so find space on your inhalation, and soften on the exhalation. Good. And then we'll take the inhalation here and we'll exhale into downward facing dog. Just a few breaths here before we complete the sun salutation. It's a very long sun salutation. Okay, so we're going to bring ourselves forward again. So we're going to take an inhalation, lift the head forward, and on the exhalation, walk, step, or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, lift the chest, long spine, and exhale, stay there, or straightening your legs, foreheads towards your shins. Feet are together. On the inhalation, bend the knees, Utkatasana, arms up. And then exhale, come all the way to stand. Okay, so we're going to come into a couple of balancing poses now. So again, this concept of dancing, so don't worry if you fall, just enjoy the dance. So we're going to take the weight into the right foot. So just maybe lift the heel of the left foot up off the mat and take the weight into the right foot. Now try and find a drishti, a focal point, something that's ahead of you that's not moving if possible. And at eye height if possible. I think if you look down, they do say that you get a bit depressed. If you look up, go away with the fairies a little bit too much. So from here, on the inhalation, we're going to lift the left foot up off the mat and just hug the left knee in initially. So some of you might actually stay here, just even trying to balance here can be a challenge. Those of you going further, you Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So you would take the right hand to the right hip and take hold of the left big toe with the index finger, middle finger. That's it. That's it, good. And then you might stay there, or you take an inhalation on the exhalation, start to straighten that left leg. Don't worry if it doesn't straighten. I think it's more important that we keep the spine long so there's integrity through the back. So the right foot presses down, and then you extend that left leg forward. That's it, brilliant. Soften the face and the shoulders. Really root that right foot down, good. So the right leg is really strong, brilliant, girls. And then we're going to take it into tree. So what we're going to do is turn the foot itself off to the left, and then we're going to take the left leg off to the left, and then see if we can maybe bring it straight into tree from here. And then hands pressing together at the heart. And if you've fallen, then just bring yourself into tree pose. So try and align the hip bones, both hip bones, then with the shorter edge of your mat. That's it, like these ladies are doing. So you'll probably find that the left knee isn't necessarily off at a right angle. It's probably off at a diagonal. That's it, there. Good. Shoulders down, and feel where the hands are pressing together. So feel the heel of your hands pressing together. You might even just bring your thumbs to the sternum, to the breastbone here, and just lift the skin of the breastbone. So there's a lifting. You might notice how that lifted and lengthened the front body. Just that gentle movement. Stay focused on the breath. Focus, right foot pressing down onto the mat. Fantastic. And under pressure as well. So let's take an exhalation, release the left foot, and release your hands. Very balanced. Okay, same on the other side. So let's take a moment just to ground the left foot. So you'd really feel the ball of the left big toe, little toe, inner heel and outer heel pressing onto the mat. Come onto the right toes maybe, lift the right heel. Drishti focus, and then inhale, lift the right foot up off the mat and just hug that right knee in initially. And then when you feel balanced and ready to progress, if you want to, take your index finger, middle finger and grip onto your big toe with your thumb as well. Use your left hand to almost root the left foot and left hip down, take an inhalation and exhale. Work towards straightening that right leg. Like I say, it doesn't necessarily need to straighten. That's it, Katie, good. And then the chest lifts, so really lift the chest. Root the left foot down. Keep breathing, focusing, noticing, I'm sure, the sensation, and you can probably feel the wobbling through that left foot, left ankle, which is strengthening your left ankle. And then we'll turn the right foot itself off to the right, move the right leg around to the right a little, take an inhalation, exhale, guide that right foot into tree. And if you fall out, then just bring yourself back to the pose, hands to the heart. And again, now just align the hip bones with the shorter edge of your mat ahead. And then from there, you can externally rotate into that right hip. And then again, you might just bring your thumbs to the breastbone and lift the breastbone, or lift the skin of the breastbone, just so there's a lengthening through front and back bodies. Hands pressing together, keep the eyes focused on that point ahead. Relax the face. So allow the movement, trees move, don't they, with the breeze, with the wind. So same for us, just allowing, not that it's necessarily windy in here, but just allowing the movement. Good, and then on your exhalation, releasing the hands and releasing that right foot down. Brilliant, ladies. And then feet back together. And then from here, we're going to come into another sand salutation. So we're going to take the arms out to the side on an inhalation, reach hands all the way up to the ceiling, looking up if that's comfortable for your neck. And exhale, folding from the hips, fingertips to touch the mat. Inhale, lift the chest flat back. And exhale, walk, step or jump into downward facing dog. Good, and then let's inhale forward into plank. Exhale, lower all the way onto the mat, elbows in. Inhaling baby cobra, lower ribs on the mat. And exhale, downward facing dog. That's it, great. Okay, and then we're going to take an inhalation to lift the right foot up off the mat. And exhale the right foot to the right thumb again. And then drop your left knee down onto the mat, left foot flat. So this is the one time in yoga, well, certainly one time that I know of, that you're allowed to take that right knee over your right foot. So that's legal today to do that. You can go quite faster with you, I'm sure. If the right heel is pressing down to the mat, you might almost be able to bring the back of your right leg to your right heel. But just make sure there's no discomfort in your lower back. So come onto the fingertips, lift the chest, press into the left shin and the left foot as much as you can. Good, and then you might stay here, or you might bring your hands onto your right thigh. And then you really press the right knee forward and down, and press the thigh itself, not the knee joint, but so that you might lunge the knee a bit more forward if that's okay for your knee. And you lift the chest, and you're lifting also the left thigh up off the mat. So the right thigh drops down, but the left thigh lifts up. Is that all right? Looks good. Yeah. You all right? Good. And then you might go further from here. I mean, it's fine as you are, you don't necessarily need to, but you could drop the hands down, take an inhalation, lift the hands, or the arms. And then if you can bring the hands together with the arms straight, then by all means do that, so he's demonstrating. Otherwise just stay as Katie's demonstrating. Trying to line the hip bones, relaxing the shoulders and the face. Good, so I'm sure some of you can feel this quite actively in that left hip flexor maybe, working into your psoas as well. And then those of you who have lifted the hands, take an inhalation and exhale, hands down, and everyone actually hands down onto the mat. We're going to walk over the right foot to pigeon, so Ekapada Rajakapotasana. So we're going to walk the right foot over to the left. We're going to flex the right foot, come onto the outer right shin. Now just check there's a diagonal from your right hip to your right knee, that's it. And then you might just tuck your left toes under, lift the left knee, extend through the left heel, and then place the left knee back down onto the mat so you know that the left knee cap's facing directly down. Hip bones are squaring. Take your inhalation, open your chest, and exhale, bring yourself forward into the pose. That's it, good. So some people find this relatively easygoing. I think you're one of those people that finds this relatively easygoing, aren't you? And others are not so easygoing. Is it easygoing for you, Katie? Oh. For some people this is excruciatingly painful. So it's like sadistic yoga, it's not meant to be though. So obviously just finding that edge, so we're not pushing beyond that edge at any point. And then you just breathe into any areas of discomfort. So if you can identify where you're feeling sensation, and possibly not pleasant sensation, rather than turning away from it, I would encourage you to breathe into it instead, just meet and greet it. And also maybe be curious as to why it's there, what it is, the texture of it, the colour of it, the nature of it. But at the same time, remembering to breathe. So stay steady with the breath. Brilliant. And then from here, let's take an inhalation to lift the head, lift the chest. And exhale, walk your hands back. And then you might just pause here. Or you might keep the right hand on the mat, bend the left knee, and reach to take hold of your left foot. And you might then draw the left foot in towards the left buttock, which again can be quite uncomfortable for some of us. There is the option to go into full pigeon if you wanted to from here, but this is probably enough, but there is that option to play around with that over time, certainly. Good, well done girls. And then on your exhalation, release the left foot, hands flat to the mat, tuck the left toes under, take an inhalation, exhale, downward facing dog. And just allow that all to settle for a moment. So sometimes it's a great kind of release, or relief I should say actually, to manage to get out of that pose. Brilliant. Okay, so same on the other side. So I'm going to take the inhalation, lift the left foot forward, and exhale left foot to left thumb, releasing the right knee down onto the mat. So again, left knee can lunge over the left foot. I would encourage you to press the right shin and the right foot down, lift the chest, shoulders down, stay here or walk your hands onto this top thigh. And again, you're almost pressing the top thigh, the left thigh down as you lift the right thigh up, keeping the shoulders soft, keeping that left foot flat to the mat. So if the left heel is lifting up, step it forward. So you're really active, as these ladies are, through this back leg. Hip bones aligned. And then those of you wanting to go further, drop the hands down, and then on the inhalation, lift the hands all the way up. That's it. And you could bring your hands together as Vicky's doing, or stay like Katie is. Or you can have your fingertips down if necessary. So just make sure there's a lengthening through your lower back. So, well, I say through the lower back, I mean through the tailbone. Have an awareness of the tailbone lengthening down so there's no compression in your lower back. Where do you feel this in your right thigh? Yeah. Yes. Do you feel this at all?
On my thigh.
Yes. Good. There we go. Brilliant. Okay. Those of you who have the hands lifted, take your inhalation. And actually, everyone releasing fingertips down onto the mat, exhaling. Pigeon. So let's walk the left foot over towards the right. That's it. Just making sure there's no discomfort in the knee joint. If there is, then probably best not to do this. But don't use that as an excuse not to do it, however. Flex the left foot. That's it. Walk your right leg back and then tuck your toes under as Katie's doing there. So you can then lengthen through the right leg and drop the right knee down. That's it, lovely. Hips are aligned, fingertips on the mat, drop the pelvis, take an inhalation, shoulders relaxed, and exhale, come forward. So you might notice sensation in the same place but on the other side, you know what I mean, as you felt on the other side, or it might be somewhere completely different actually. So for many of us, we might feel some sensation in the buttock, for example, working into the piriformis here, possibly. I know other people sometimes feel it in all sorts of places. Lady recently was feeling it in her hamstring. So it just goes to show how different we all are. But again, take the awareness to wherever you feel that sensation and just breathe into that sensation. Is that all right for you? Yeah, you probably don't feel anything anyway, do you? You do, that's all right then. So each inhalation, find an expansion, and each exhalation, soften into that space. It tends to be quite good for people that have problems with their lower back, not for everyone obviously. Sometimes it can be helpful in releasing tension from that area. Good. Okay, and then we're going to take an inhalation, come up onto the fingertips, lift the chest. Exhale, walk the hands back. And then you might support yourself in your left hand, you might stay like this, or you might bend your right knee and take hold of your right foot, drawing the right foot in towards the right buttock. Probably extremely uncomfortable, particularly for those who might run or cycle regularly, or even swim, or just do a lot of sitting. So just breathe into it, that's it, good. Shoulders are still soft. And then on the exhalation, releasing that right foot. Tuck the right toes under, hands shoulder distance apart, or wherever you need them to be. Take an inhalation, exhale, downward facing dog. Just enjoy that release. Good, and then we'll take the inhalation forward into plank. Press through the crown of the head as you exhale, lower all the way down. Yes. All right. Okay, so you might choose to just rest now. Otherwise, we're going to come into Dhanurasana, the bow pose. You're going to bend the knees if you're going to go into the pose. You're both going into it. Yes. Take hold of the outer ankles. And then energize the feet. So these ladies know what they're doing, but energize the feet nonetheless. So the feet are active and the shoulder blades draw towards one another already. Knees are hip distance, feet hip distance. Take your inhalation, lift your chest up off the mat, and exhale, lift the knees. And I know you can't straighten the legs, but it's almost as if you are trying to straighten the legs. That's okay, good. So that you're drawing the feet back, lovely. And then you lift the collarbones up, again, as these girls are doing, that's it. You might notice that there's a movement. Vicky's rocking here, and that's just simply because of where she is in the pose. I don't think you're forcing it, are you? It's just breathing into it. Good, that's it. Relaxing the face, it's a bit of a challenge. And then release on your exhalation. And literally release, so just rest however you choose to, like move your, that's it. You might even rock your pelvis, as Vicky's doing. That's it, good. And just take a few breaths here, as if it never happened, only it did happen. And it's very good for you, actually, in theory. It's going to really work to open that heart space a little bit more. We do a lot of forward folding activity in life, so we collapse a lot through the heart. We're sitting at desks or sitting in cars or collapsing on sofas or whatever else it may be doing, studying I guess as well. A lot of time spent at screens. So these poses really help to open the heart. And also it's good for your digestive system, as long as you don't have any digestive disorders, and then it's maybe not so good for your digestive system. It's going to help keep the flexibility of the spine. Okay, so hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes under, take an inhalation and exhale, downward facing dog. Just release through downward facing dog, that's it. So really grounding the heels down onto the floor, lengthening through the back of the body. Good, staying with the breath. Brilliant. And then we're going to take it into a crouching position from here. So we're going to take an inhalation to lift the head, look forward. And on the exhalation, walk the feet halfway towards the hands. And then turn the heels, the heels in and the toes out, and come down into Malasana if you can. You've got a block. Do you want the block under your heels? Okay, so if you've got a block and you want to take it under your heels, then you can do that as Katie's doing. Or Vicky's got her heels down. And then you might keep your hands down if you want to, Katie. Otherwise, hands to the heart, whichever feels appropriate for you, really. Just so we can work a little into the hips. Brilliant. And then we're going to take another balance here. So again, obviously optional like everything, but hands may be coming onto the mat. So we're going to come into Crow Bakasana. So those of you who are on a block, I'm just going to move it out of the way. That's it. You want to lift the buttocks up anyway, and you want to lift the heels up now. But otherwise, stay in your crouching Malasana position. Hands to shoulder distance, elbows in line with the shoulders and elbows, yes, in line with shoulders and wrist joints. And you need to bend the elbows towards the back of the room to create a platform. That's it. So ground the thumbs down, and then they bend that way. That's it. And then knees go on your upper and outer arms. And you really need to encourage the active nature through the inner thighs. So hug the inner thighs in towards one another as you take the weight into your hands, and maybe nothing happens. Or maybe you can lift your toes one at a time up off the mat. Try not to look at your feet. If you look at your feet, you're more likely to fall over. So like Vicky's doing, Vicky and Katie both looking ahead. Buttocks are up, tummy sucked in, big toes together eventually. Oh, well done, Katie, that's great. There you go. Yay! And then coming down when you're ready from there. Well done. You are up. Brilliant. Okay, and then take a rest after all that activity in pose of a child. So knees apart, big toes together, tummy on your thighs. And then forehead either on your mat, or you might bring your hands underneath your forehead, whatever works for you. These girls have taken their hands towards their heels, and like you can see, softening the elbows off to the sides, the shoulders rest. And then we'll just take a few conscious breaths here. So there's a tendency sometimes for the mind to start wandering as we've internalized here a little. So see if you can keep the awareness on the breath and on sensation in the body. So in theory, this is a resting pose, but if you find this isn't particularly restful, especially if you have any knee issues or whatever else may be not so pleasant for you right now, you could always lie on your tummy. Okay, before we get too comfortable here, let's take an inhalation, come back up onto the knees. And then we're going to exhale and fold the legs. You could roll over your toes, although no one ever wants to join me doing that, but there we go, there is that option. Okay, and then we're going to extend the right leg forward. We're going to bend the left knee joint, or close the left knee joint. And then we're going to take the left knee off to the side. So we're going to come into Janu Shasana from here. I'll move out the way, sorry. So right foot flexed. And then you could always bring a block underneath your, actually you don't need one, do you? Underneath your left knee. But just make sure you're active through that left leg. And then we'll raise the hands to the ceiling. We'll lift the chest. We'll take an inhalation. On an exhalation, lead with the heart. Just find that edge, hands coming down wherever they need to, so try to resist rounding the back, and if you have any back issues and this aggravates it, then please come out of the pose. But eventually, maybe taking hold of the foot, well done ladies, that's it. So that right leg is directly forward, that's it, flexing that foot, relaxing the face and the shoulders. It's a little bit of a revolving to this pose, making it look very effortless. So stay with the breath. Relax the shoulders, right foot flexed. Lovely. And then we'll move with the breath. So releasing binds, ground down, strong through your core. On the inhalation, reach the hands all the way to the ceiling, and then releasing down. Keep the left knee joint closed as you bring the left knee back to the centre, and then extend the left leg. That's it. And then close the right knee joint, so bend the right knee, and then take the right knee off to the right. And again, just take a moment, right foot pressing to the inside of your left leg. That's it, good. And then just align your torso over that left leg. Flex the left foot, arms up. Take your inhalation, and then on your exhalation, when you're ready, lead with the heart. That's it, and then like Vicky's doing. Okay, so you might just come in and out of the pose. Drawing back through that outer left hip, that's it. Dropping through the right tummy, right side of chest. Aligning the shoulder girdle over that left leg, that's it. Just pause at that edge. Is that your edge? You should imagine, yeah. So never pushing or pulling yourself into these poses. Just maintain the integrity through the back. Is that right on your back? Yeah. Relax the face. Steady breath. Ladies, good. Okay, and then again, releasing your binds, and on an inhalation, you could reach your hands up, and release, exhale down, and then that right knee joint, right knee back to the centre, and then release the right leg. And we'll move out that way, because we're going to take the legs apart now into Upavistha. So, feet apart, or legs apart, as much as feels comfortable for you. Remember where we are, this is one of those Marmite poses, isn't it? So, you might take your hands to the back of the body, lift up the perineum, or lift up, and the pelvis, and rock forward onto the perineum, so space between the genitalia. That's all right for you going forward from there, is it? Do you find it, you're all right like that there? Yes, you can. If you weren't like these ladies, and you're tilted back, you demonstrate that actually, so you're like this, then I would suggest that you just bend the knees, so that you can then find the rotation through the pelvis, and then just lean your chest forward a bit, that's it. And then the mission for you is just to stay like this, or start to straighten your legs. And I'm not expecting them to straighten in this lifetime even, but there's that awareness. Otherwise, you're starting as these ladies are already, rocking forward, that's it. And then you might go no further than that, but keep the feet flexed, fingertips on the mat, take an inhalation, and then exhale. Maybe you stay as you are, or maybe you go a bit further forward. So for Vicky, that looks relatively painless, whereas I'm sure for you it's not quite so painless. That's changed though. And then breathe. So keep the feet active. That's it, just check, that's it. So feet active, kneecaps facing the ceiling. Sometimes the legs have a tendency to roll in or out. Just keep the kneecaps and the toes facing directly up. Now I'm sure that most people feel some degree of tension somewhere or sensation in this pose. So take your awareness to that sensation. And breathe into that sensation. Good. Okay, and then we're going to take the inhalation to start to lift the head, lift the chest. And exhale, come all the way back to the starting position. And then just take your hands under your knees and just bend the knees and bring the feet about hip distance apart from one another. So we're going to come into tabletop, your space behind you. So feet about hip distance apart. Hands to the back of the body, fingers pointing towards the buttocks, unless that's really uncomfortable for you, in which case turn them back. Press the hands and feet down, take an inhalation and exhale. Maybe you come only a little bit, and you come all the way up, that's it. You can look towards the same direction as your knees or look to the ceiling. Just make sure there's no pressure on your neck. Is that all right? Well done. Good, knees pressing forward. Lovely ladies, two very good tabletops. They don't always look like tabletops, but these happen to look like tabletops. Good, on your exhalation, release all the way down from there. And then we're going to extend the left leg. We're going to bend the right knee and take the right foot to the outside of the left leg. Ardha Matsyendrasana, and this may be enough for some people. Otherwise, you're going to bend your left knee and take your left heel to the outer right buttock. Just so both sitting bones can press down onto the mat. So if you find they don't, then keep that left leg extended. Okay, and then we'll reach the right hand to the ceiling, take an inhalation and exhale the right hand to the back of the body. Be light on the right fingertips. Lift the left arm, take an inhalation, and exhale, let's twist to the right. Good. So working with the ascending colon here, so sitting bones grounded down as these ladies are doing, chest or spine lifted, chest open. Fabulous. And then you might look out over the right shoulder if that's okay for your neck. So right for your neck, good, that's it, lovely. And then stay there, lovely. And then keep pressing the ball of the right big toe down. So as you press the ball of the right big toe down, there should be a corresponding lifting through your sternum. With a conscious breath, so the inhalation to create the length, the exhalation to twist. And then moving with the breath to release from the pose. So you might inhale up through and lengthen through the crown of the head, lift your left hand, and exhale, come back to the centre. And then swap the legs. So we'll extend the right leg, left foot to the outside of the right leg. Stay like this, or bend the right knee this time. Right heel to the outside of your left sitting bone. That's right, good. And then again, just get a good grounding. That's it, as these ladies are doing, lifting the chest. And then lift your left hand, take an inhalation, and exhale with the chest still lifted. Left hand to the back of the body, that's it. Good, and then right arm up, take an inhalation, and exhale, take the twist. There is a bind here for anyone wanting to come into the bind, which, Katie, if you stay as you are, or you can do it as well. Okay, they can both do it. No, you can do it if you want to. There is a bind, so that left hand coming underneath the left knee, and the right hand to the back. Is that right? Good. And then again, press the ball of the left big toe down onto the mat. Fabulous. It's really good. And then you're working into the neck as well, if that feels comfortable for the neck. Just drop your chin a tiny bit. There we go. And then there's breath, or the breath. You have an awareness of your breath. So inhaling to find some space, and exhale, softening into that space. Fabulous. So wringing out the internal organs here, on a physical and emotional level actually, in theory. Okay, and then releasing any bind, and take an inhalation, extend the right hand to the ceiling, lengthen through the crown of the head, and exhale, come all the way back to the centre. We're going to come down now, we're going to come down through a we're going to sort of move through a few poses to come down. So come forward on your mat so you've got space behind you. We'll just have a go at one more balance pose here, Ubaya Padagustasana. So we'll take hold of the big toes with the index finger, middle finger, and then we'll lift the chest, drop the shoulders. We might stay here, or we might lift the heels up off the mat. And we might take an inhalation and stay like this, or we might exhale and straighten the legs, or not. And we might roll over by accident, or maybe intentional, who knows. And it's all fine anyway. It is what it is. Well done, good. Okay, and then we're going to transition into our favourite poses, Navasana. So some people might keep their legs straight, some might bend the knees, and you might even take hold of the back of your thighs, or the arms out. Delighted you came along now, aren't you? Feet active. That's it. So in Ardha Navasana, as Katie's doing, or if you want to be in the full pose as Vicky's doing. Lovely. And then we're going to take it into my favourite pose at the moment, well, it's kind of almost my favourite pose, Ardha Navasana, half boat, which actually means we're going to straighten the legs and come halfway down. Oh, I know. Now, Mr. Iyengar tells us that this is really good for our liver. I think in theory we should probably have our hands behind the back of the body, but for now, back of the head, but for now we'll stay like this. This is really good for the liver, so right now, mantra is, I love my liver. I love my liver. I love my liver. I love my liver. And I'm going to exhale, release slowly down, don't collapse. Whew, well done, girls. Okay, before we get too comfortable here, or we can get comfortable, but let's take an inhalation, right knee into the chest. Hug that right knee in. That's it, flex the feet again, lovely. So Ardha Appanasana, just releasing here, working into that right hip. Feels almost joyful, doesn't it, after that boat pose. And then on your exhalation, release the right leg along the mat, and inhale your left knee into your chest instead. That's it, and keep pressing out through that right heel, right foot active. That's it, there you go. Great. And then let's use the inhalation to bring the right knee in to join the left knee, both knees in. And just press down through your lower back as you encourage the knees, the chest, feet still active. Well done, both of you. We're going to take it into another twist, a final twist. So Dathara Parivartanasana. Now, if you've got a block, you might slip the block between your inner thighs. You all right taking that in there? There you go. Otherwise not. And then arms out at shoulder height, so I'll get out of the way. That's it. And root the shoulders down, so it strengthens the shoulders. Now be mindful how this affects your back, obviously. So you're going to hover the knees from one side to the other side. Okay, so taking your inhalation here, and on the exhalation, knees towards the left to start with, and maybe head to the right. That's it. And then inhale, come back to the centre, keep pressing the shoulders down onto the mat. Good, and exhale, knees over to your right, head to the left. Inhaling back to the centre. Exhaling, knees to your left, head to the right, maybe keep the shoulders down, only go as far as you can with the shoulders both to the mat. Inhaling back to the centre. Well done. Exhaling, knees over to your right, head to your left. And then inhaling back to the centre. Take the block out if you've got a block from between your thighs. Well done, Katie. Just hug the knees in, massage your back. Now it'd be good to come into a brief inversion before we come to rest. If you're menstruating, you've got high blood pressure, glaucoma, a bad neck or shoulders, then probably you don't want to do anything other than just lift your legs up. So you could lift your legs up the invisible wall, as Vicky's demonstrating. You could literally go to a wall, sit sideways to the wall, and swing your legs up the wall. Otherwise, this option. Or you could come into Viparita Karani, which is kind of like half a shoulder stand. So those of you coming into that pose, hands onto the mat. Actually, I'm not sure why I'm doing it. I can tell you, you can show us what to do. So hands down onto the mat, and then you take an inhalation, knees towards the forehead, and then lift the lower back up off the mat, that's it. And then your hands go to support your lower back. So it's not like a shoulder stand, your hands aren't coming up the back, your hands go to take hold, not even of your lower back, sorry, but your hips, the back of your hips, both of you, brilliant. And then you maybe straighten the legs from there, but they'll be at an angle, so your body's kind of bent. In a shoulder stand, you're more upright, feet up towards the ceiling. The legs are straight, but just that you're bending at your hips more so. Perfect. There we go, exactly that. And if you can get your elbows in a bit closer, that's even better. Lovely. You might feel a lot of pressure in your elbows initially, so you might just have to jiggle around to find that kind of light spot. And then you might even close your eyes. Is that all right for you? And you might feel some heaviness in your chest, actually, as the organs press on your diaphragm. You might feel a heaviness in the head as well. Brilliant. Okay, and then we're going to come out of the pose. So we're going to bring the hands flat to the mat, knees to the forehead, and on an exhalation, unroll yourself down. Those of you with the legs up the wall, if you can just bend your knees to your chest and roll off to the right, and those of you with the legs up the invisible wall, just bend your knees, feet down. And then from there, everyone just bringing themselves into Shavasana. So if you're uncomfortable, or if your lower back's uncomfortable here, then I suggest you bend the knees. But otherwise, lengthening through the body, feet about hip distance apart, if not a little bit wider. Just make sure there's no pressure through the back or through the hips. Shoulders down away from the ears, hands a couple of inches away from the sides of the body. Back of the neck long. And you might take an eye pillow over your eyes, closed eyes. Alright, I don't think you usually have one, actually, do you? Oh, you do. That's it. So just relax. That's it. Completely relax. And then everyone just take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then just giving yourself whatever permission you need to completely relax body and relax mind. So just allowing the heels to soften onto the floor. The backs of your legs, your buttocks, lower back, middle back and upper back, so back of heart sinking onto the mat. And then just relax the tops of your legs, your tummy, your chest, shoulders, relaxing arms, hands, fingers and thumbs. The neck and throat, and just relaxing the face, relax the forehead and relax the jaws. You might even take the teeth apart from one another and relax the root of the tongue. Relax the head itself. Awareness back to your breath. Awareness back to the breath and awareness back to the body. And just increasing the pace of your breath as you start to bring some gentle movement back to fingers and to toes. And then just lengthening if you choose to lengthen your body. Otherwise, just gently drawing the knees in towards the chest and massaging your back on the floor. And then just rolling all the way onto the right side of the body, allowing eye pillows to fall from the eyes, softening on the right side of the body. And then just gently pushing yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position, facing the front of your mat. And then just joining me in the pose of humility, so fingertips on the mat ahead of you. Taking an inhalation and exhale, walking the hands forward. So you don't need to bring the forehead to touch the mat, it's more of a gesture than a posture. Opportunity for silent expression of gratitude perhaps, or to think of someone in need of positive energy. And then on an inhalation, lifting the head, lift the chest. And exhale, walk the hands back towards the body. Eyes closed, hands to the heart. Perhaps joining me in a single chant of Om, in which case taking a breath in. Om. Dropping chin towards chest. The all beings of happiness and the causes of happiness. Gently opening your eyes. Looking down towards the floor. And Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Namaste. Namaste.